all you need to know, the Bloomberg Quint podcast that prepares you for the day's business.
Good morning and welcome to the daily morning news update from Bloomberg Quint. I'm Menaka Doshi. Today is the 1st of September and I'm afraid the big news this morning is not very pleasant. India's GDP contracted by a record 23.9% in the April to June quarter. That's the quarter most of the country was under lockdown. So that contraction is not surprising, even if it's more severe than expected. A Bloomberg poll of 31 economists had expected an 18% contraction. The sectors that hurt the most were construction, manufacturing, trade, hotels, and transport. Agriculture was the only sector to grow at 3.4%. Economists now expect double-digit contraction in GDP in the current quarter as well. As for the full year, estimates range from -6% to -11.5%. For more on that story, go to bloombergquint.com. While on the economy, India's fiscal deficit has breached its full-year target in just the first 4 months of the financial year. The gap between revenue and expenditure reached 8.21 lakh crore rupees, or 103% of the budgeted estimate. This is mostly attributable to a sharp fall in revenue, while expenditure was maintained over the same period last year. Aditi Nair, Vice President at ICRA, said in a note that the central government's fiscal deficit for the year is expected to surge to 6.8% of GDP, based on a nominal GDP contraction of 7.5%. Late afternoon yesterday, the RBI announced a series of steps aimed at maintaining orderly market conditions and congenial financial conditions. These cover forward guidance, additional twist operations, additional term repo, and a hike in held-to-maturity bond limits. Experts say this should help calm the bond markets that recently witnessed a sharp rise in yields. In corporate news, 2 years after it first announced the deal, Larsen & Toubro has sold its electrical and automation unit to Schneider Electric for nearly 14,000 crore rupees. Several manufacturing units and 5,000 employees will be transferred to Schneider. L&T CEO S.N. Subramanian said the sale would help strengthen the company's balance sheet. He said, and I quote, "This is in sync with our strategy to look at L&T in broadly 3 areas: EPC construction and projects, manufacturing, and defense and services." At least 7 states and 1 union territory have rejected the central government's suggestion that states borrow to make up for the GST shortfall, saying the constitutional liability lies with the union government. Punjab, West Bengal, Kerala, Delhi, Chhattisgarh, Telangana, Rajasthan and Puducherry have all asked the centre to borrow and compensate states. In an interview to Bloomberg Quint, Kerala Finance Minister Thomas Isaac said he was angry for being taken for a ride by the central government and that there would be no surrender. Maharashtra has extended the statewide lockdown on account of the COVID-19 pandemic till the 30th of September, but with some relaxations. Hotels can now function at full capacity. Private offices can operate at up to 30% of their employee strength, and there will be no restriction on inter-district movement of people or goods. But schools, colleges, cinema halls, they're all still shut. And no large gatherings, please. Well, here's one for all you Tesla fans. You will be enthused to know that Elon Musk is now the 3rd richest person in the world, at least for the moment. Musk worth $111.9 billion, passed Facebook co-founder Mark Zuckerberg, who's worth $111.2 billion. Tesla's soaring share price this year, yes, it's up 475%, gave Musk that slim lead. Now, speaking of stocks, Wall Street ended mixed. Dow and S&P were down, but the Nasdaq recorded yet another high thanks to Apple. Most Asian indices are trading with losses the last I checked this morning. And now it's over to Hormuz Fatakia for the India trade setup. Good morning, Hormuz.
Good morning to you, Menka, and to our listeners as well. The streak was finally broken, and on a day when the Sensex and the Nifty saw their biggest single day drop in over 3 months, domestic investors turned net buyers for the first time and the only time in the month of August. On to specific stocks for today. Larsen & Toubro has announced the closure of the strategic disinvestment of its electric and automation business to Schneider Electric. The transaction took place for an all-cash deal of 14,000 crore rupees. A couple of stocks now on the back of order wins. First, BEML has won an order worth 842 crore rupees from the Ministry of Defence. And second, Bharat Road Networks, in a joint venture with RKD Constructions, has received a letter of acceptance from the National Highway Authority of India for a hybrid annuity project in Bihar worth over 1,000 crore rupees. MOIL will be in focus today after the company raised prices of all grades of ferro, SMGR grades, fines and chemical grades by 10% as compared to the previous month. The revised prices are effective from today. India Grid Trust has acquired the Gurgaon Palwal transmission from Sterlite Power at an enterprise value of 1,080 crore rupees. The acquisition is likely to add net distributable cash flow worth 35 to 40 crore rupees a year for the company. Also, watch out for auto stocks today as they will be reporting their sales numbers for the month of August. Stocks like JK Cement, Bharat Dynamics, Sadbhav Infra, Sri Renuka Sugars will be reacting to their results reported after close of trade on Monday. ONGC will be the 49th Nifty company to report its June quarter results today. It ended Monday's session as one amongst the only two gainers on the benchmark index. And non-index names like Nalco, NLC India and Shalimar Paints will also be reporting numbers today. In key bulk deals, New World Fund and Nomura India have acquired 0.6% stake each in Aavas Financiers, and that will be one stock to watch out for. On a day when there was heavy selling across the board, there were some stocks that bucked the trend, including ONGC. One of them is IndiaMart Intermesh, which ended 4% higher and was the top gainer on the small cap index. Heritage Foods is the second stock that ended higher by over 5% on Monday, and it was amongst the top performing stocks on the Nifty 500 index. And L&T Technology Services is the third one. The stock snapped a 5-day losing streak, ending over 2% higher on Monday. On a day where there was heavy selling across the board, there were some stocks that bucked the trend. IndiaMart Intermesh was the first one, which ended 4% higher and was the top gainer on the small cap index. Heritage Foods is the second stock, which ended higher by over 5% on Monday and was amongst the top performers on the Nifty 500 index. And L&T Technology Services is the third one. The stock snapped a 5-day losing streak on Monday, ending with gains of over 2%. Early ticks on the SGX Nifty indicate that the index trades higher by around 40 points above the mark of 11,400. And you can get more details on all of these stocks in our All You Need to Know copy on BloombergQuint.com. And with that, I wish you a safe day ahead, and it's back to you, Minka.
Thanks, Hormuz. And that wraps it up this morning. Have a great day. Don't forget to visit BloombergQuint.com for all the big stories and insightful columns.
I hope you enjoyed listening to All You Need to Know. Did you know that you can listen to the show on the IVM Podcast app? On the IVM Podcast app, along with this, we have a number of other shows which you think you'll enjoy. Listen to Cyrus Says with Cyrus Brocha as the host. Listen to Pesa Vesa with Anupam Gupta. The Scene and the Unseen with Amit Verma, or Shunya One hosted by Shiladitya Mukhopadhyay and myself. Check out the IVM Podcast app to get more talk content that you will enjoy.